spirit that the brothers is in, with the kind of, well, I would say, witchcraft or delusional spirit that they're in. It's very hard to deal with a person at this point. So honestly, we have not reached out to the brothers yet, because most likely it would end up in some type of verbal or maybe physical like so but we pray for the brothers. This is how you know that a man is dealing with the Lord, because the Lord did say love your enemy, but he's not talking about, of course, the outside enemy, the neighbor, which was among us, which was the children of Israel, among our people. So we do try to pray for the brothers, and we know that there will be a time when the Most High and I.O.G will work everything out. But right now, I don't think it would be wise to reach out to these brothers right now.
Right. We have discussed it with the other camps in other schools, but we all come to the conclusion that, right now the spirit that them brothers are in, GMS, they can't be reached right now. They have a very dark spirit on them, mainly the elders, and, it's affecting the younger men to the point where they just can't be talked to right now. So that's the way it is. Unless you want to take a chance and, like the brother says, it's going to turn into something verbal or physical. So,
Yeah, right.
That's the way it is.
Wow. And once again, you're now tuned in to Debate Talk for You. The title of this show is called Israelite Camp Confusion and Solution, Part 2. My special guest is Brother Quash and Brother Tara. The number is 877-280-9681. That's 877-280-9681. If you have any questions, press the number 1, and I'll add you into the conversation. Now, we already touched the whole Freemason thing, so it's definitely affirmative that we have people that actually join Freemasons and are a part of Israelite camps. Is that true?
I've met a few brothers who were Masons and were in our particular camp and school. And, usually what happens, the spirit ends up pushing them out, or they reveal something about themselves, and we end up putting them out. Well, on a few occasions, I've talked to a few brothers, a lot of elder brothers, too. I was surprised. Quite a few elder brothers. And the stuff they would say was just, just a lot of, like, sun worship stuff and, things sexual, but based on, like, a old religion or old doctrine, numbers, some stuff from the, from dealing with numbers and trying to mix that up in with spirituality. Kabbalah trying to bring Kabbalah in. And what they'll do, they'll sit around the brothers and sisters for a while, and they'll wait for the right opportunity, and they'll gradually bring it out, but in a vague way to see if you'll nibble at it spiritually, and then they'll, try to work their way in. But the spirit usually pushes them out, so they don't get very far unless they're really good,
Yeah.
But personally, I have not encountered any Mason. If I encounter a Mason, I would definitely want to know at that point exactly what is he dealing with, and what his doctrine is. And, I wouldn't feel comfortable at the time, because the man would have to repent. The man or woman would have to repent and convert to the Israelites. So I haven't personally encountered any Freemasons that I know of. But like the brother before said, I guess, everybody has different experience being in this truth. So he's probably counted some.
Yeah, hold on. I believe you have another caller here. Hold on for 1 second. 309-685. You're live on Debate Talk for You. You have a question or a comment?
Yeah. Hey, how you doing, Brother Sal? Thanks again for the show. I was just listening and talking about Freemasonry. Actually, Freemasonry goes back even to when the children of Israel was in Egypt, because it started out as stonemasonry. So, and then if you read in the Bible, it's a lot of Israelites who were Masons, but today's Masons have been infiltrated, like everybody was talking about, been infiltrated by like the Illuminati and all of that, and then they've introduced, well, not introduced, because back in Egypt, they, all that sun worship and stuff like that. But my question was, do you, any of you brothers happen to have a teaching at all that shows us, like Freemasonry in the Bible? Like, you know, like it shows us like what they do, like if they're part of you know, the false prophets and the Pharisees and that kind of thing. Do you have a lesson that like could bring some clarity to that?
Well, you know, the Bible touches on a lot of things that pertain to witchcraft. When you read the story of who was it, Saul, and you know, Saul, he wanted to conjure up a spirit. So who did he go to? He went to a woman that was an expert in the conjuring of spirits.
Oh yeah.
Then you have the story of Mars Hill, where you know, brothers, they worship and they were into the unknown God and many different gods.
Right.
Yeah. So you know, the Bible touches on on many aspects, you know, of that. You know, when you get a chance, you know, read Deuteronomy. I believe it's the 13th chapter. You know, it talks about, you know, going after familiar spirits. So, you know, just like you had that in the days of old, you know, you have, you know, witches and stuff like that now. I've been in camp where actual witches in all jet black hair, black lipstick, black fingernails have come and tried to stop the word from going out. Empty black rocks, you know, in front of the camp. So, you know, so that stuff is existed in the past, and it's going to exist now. So, you know, the Bible talks about, you know, that and spiritual wickedness in high places, you know, coming after it, you know. So,
right. Oh, okay. All right. That gave me a thought process to go off of. So now I'm gonna try to look into that. Do you guys happen to have any teachings or anything?
Yeah, brother. I would just like to piggyback on that question about the Masons. Definitely, when you study Egypt and you study Solomon and a lot of stuff, a lot of these Masons today, they get a lot of stuff from King Solomon, but they get a lot of negative stuff from King Solomon as far as Masons, and you know, when he was dealing with the concubine women and going into their God. So a lot of this Masonry now is dealing with homosexuality and different other stuff that's totally against the Bible. You know, I want to make that clear. This is not how it was dealt with in the past on a righteous level. So we definitely have to understand that why we're so much against this Masonic teaching, and it's heavily into homosexuality, these secret societies. And also, if you study Egypt, they was dealing with that same similar thing, because a lot of these Masons take from Egypt and they take from the negative of King Solomon when he was going on. So I want that to be clear too about the Masons.
Right. But they don't touch the people.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I want to listen to your reasoning as well. After we're done with the question, you know, we done talking, is there anybody can like give me a website or something? Because I'm interested in this and I want to do further study. I could follow one of you guys' teachings or something, or.
You know what you can do? Take my website down. If you didn't get to the last show, I'll give it to. I'll put it out there at the end of the show, so the Facebook.
Okay.
And you know, we can correspond. I could direct you better. You know, if you like.
Okay, yeah, I'm definitely interested. I like this topic. It's really interesting. I want to learn more. But I'll sit back and listen to you guys. I just wanted to chime in a little bit, give some comment, and then I just was really just wanting to follow one of you guys' teaching on it, so I can learn and study a little more on it, because it's really interesting what y'all talking about, man, and I just want to know more about it, you know, that's all. So thanks again for letting me be on the show. You guys have a good day, and I'm going to sit back and listen in and finish the show out.
All right, when you get a chance, read Deuteronomy 13, the 13th chapter, and Isaiah, the 47th chapter.
Yes, sir, I will do that.
Okay.
Yeah, appreciate you calling, my brother. And once again, the phone line is open. Number is 877-280-9681. That's 877-280-9681. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to call in. The title of this show was called Israelite Camp Confusion and Solution Part 2. My special guest is Brother Bakwash and Brother Tara. And once again, feel free to call in. Just press the number 1, and I'll add you into the conversation. Brother McQuash, you want to expound on some of them things you were saying about Freemasonry and all that stuff?
You know, like the brother Tara was saying, a lot of brothers get into that organization. Like we had a brother that was in our church, and he was involved in that. And what they tell you is that you're like, you're helping out the poor, you're doing good for society, and it's somewhat Bible based. But what they don't know, at the top of that organization, there's a lot of witchcraft and homosexuality and mysticism all wrapped up into that. When you read Albert Pike's book, and he was one of the founders of Freemasonry in this country, Albert Pike, he said that Satan is God. You understand? So a lot of that stems from ancient Egypt, like he said, because you had the physical builders, but they believe that you're going to have the spiritual builders based on negativity, which they don't tell you about, in this society, in a secret society within this society. And they believe that the common herd people, they're not smart enough or spiritual enough to, pretty much lead themselves. So that's why they set themselves up as, the leaders. Well, they think they're going to set themselves up as the top leaders of people, under the spirit of Satan. But people got to watch out for that. If it's not Bible-based or based on the Bible, then you need to really break out of that, though.
Yeah, Brother Terrell?
Yeah, exactly. The brother also touched on a lot of points. Absolutely right. And another thing, a lot of times people get into basic positions, status, as far as making it and things in this society. As you know, the Masons have a lot of power, from judges, doctors, lawyers. So a lot of times that's also people get caught up wanting, a better opportunity, and this is the way to go about it with that. But it's definitely corrupt. It's definitely, and that's a whole new topic when we could talk about homosexuality and how the Masons play a role in that homosexuality. If you look at one of the presidents at Morehouse College, a famous black college institution, and and a lot of them from the what they would call the society, where they pledge eternity, those type of things, and how that leads to Masons. And we could just go on and on about this topic, brother. You're right. It's playing a very negative part in our people. Very negative. It's taking it away from the most part.
Right. That's what the whole bullying thing is about. They're trying to pass all these laws on bullying because, what they're saying is that a lot of the straight kids are picking on the gay children, and they're coming against them. So they have these policies they're trying to set up as far as bullying. But it all stems back to the powers that be, the rich banking families, and the Masonic groups that's in power, because they're trying to push their homosexual agenda on a much higher level. You understand? So that so the whole bullying thing and not to pick on people, it's all a ploy to get you to accept homosexuality down the line.
Yeah, that's another question. Do you believe it's the homosexuality? Do you believe it's an agenda being put out there by the system, or what's your perspective as far as homosexuality? Put out there.
Oh yes, it's definitely an agenda by the elite. To make you submit, and it's to make you accept that, and it's supposed to become the new norm. But it's just another way to have you go against the Bible and accept another part of wickedness, in this system. So you're going to see a lot of that coming out, in the system as time go on. You're going to see a lot of commercials, based on accepting homosexuality and two mommies and two daddies. You're going to see that more on the rise. And you're going to see a lot of people, some of our people even, you're going to see a lot of them defending, gay rights and gay marriages and gay union. You're going to see a lot of that. And it's going to come to the point where you're going to seem like you're abnormal if you don't accept homosexuality and lesbianism. You understand? A lot of times when we're teaching out in the street, we get a lot of heat, based on that. When we start getting into that and showing people how the Lord is against that, we get a lot of heat because we're a borderline village, where we teach at 14th Street.
Brother Terrell, you want to expound on that? Is there an agenda?
Right. That homosexuality is an agenda to weaken, the black man, weaken the Latin man. Also, Europeans like to feel comfortable. They're more comfortable with a homosexual black man or a homosexual Hispanic man. And when you look at the history of the Greeks, the Greeks and the Romans, that's one of the major things that they was pushing even back during the time of Alexander the Greek. The Caesars, all of these guys was all, known homosexuality. So that's part of their culture. The book of Isaiah 1 speaks about that when it talks about we would all be a Sodom and Gomorrah, the Lord having left a small remnant of men to stand up against this. So this is definitely an agenda that's being pushed for the benefit of them, for weakening the so-called black and Hispanic men. Also, it goes into the population control, too, you know, which is obvious. If you have 2 men and 2 women, obviously you're decreasing the rate. So there's a lot of factors that's being played with that homosexual agenda.
Yeah. Once again, the number is 877-280-9681. You're now listening to Debate Talk for You. The title of the show, Israelite Camp Confusion and Solution. A lot of information has been put out there so far. Once again, if you have any questions, just dial the toll-free number 877-280-9681. When you call in, press number 1, and I'll add you into the conversation. Now, a lot of people discriminate against our people because of some of the doctrines that, you know, people don't agree with, like such as the white man is the devil. Where does this doctrine come from, and explain its relevance to the people out there?
As far as the white man being the devil, the Bible, it shows you that, you know, he is the... When you say the devil, we don't actually mean the spiritual Satan. We mean the physical arm of the devil on this earth. When you read the Bible, everybody has a biblical nationality. Now, you know, when you research the Bible, the so-called white man, that's why we say so-called, because he's not white, he's red. The so-called white man, his true nationality are the Edomites, or his father was Esau. So when you break down the Bible and go into it, this is the only nation in the Bible that's hated above, you know, hated as far as, the, you know, hated as far as direct, his hate is directed towards all nations, and all nations hate him. When you read the Bible, it says that Esau, he would, you know, take all the wealth from the earth and not give it back, but the Lord's going to make him give it back. So clearly we can easily prove that he's the wicked on this earth. So a lot of white people, or even our own people, think it's personal the way we come at the so-called white man. But without a shadow of a doubt, you know, he clearly is Esau, and he's the physical devil on this earth. So it's not a personal thing against the so-called white man. It's what we see in the Bible, and we make that clear to everyone. But because everyone is brainwashed and can't accept that fact, we get a lot of heat on that subject.
Brother Tarak?
Right, exactly. You know, it's so many factors. It clearly shows you that. I mean, if you look at historically what he has done to not just blacks and Native Americans, but worldwide. You know, how many people have been killed under the rulership of this so-called white man. And like the brother brought out from Genesis when it talks about Esau, and it said he was lit by the sword. Then you go into Revelations, and it said there appeared a great red dragon. And we know that Esau was red too. Then you go into says coming out of the bottomless pit. And when you go into the research, you find out that the bottomless pit is clearly Europe, because Europe has no minerals and resources. So that's why John the Baptist, John the Revelator was referring to it as a bottomless pit, because you look at all the minerals and resources coming from the east. So it said this man would come out of the bottomless pit with the 7 heads and 10 horns. When you go into the history, you understand that the Greek Empire was the beginning of his empire. And in the Apocrypha, it mentions that great evil multiplied when the Greeks took over. So now, the Bible clearly, the word devil means deceiver. So it's clearly telling you that when he took over and he came into power, great evil multiplied on the earth. So what is the devil's job? To bring evil on the earth. And, we can go into that clearly, but I mean, that's just a brief, as far as information breakdown, showing you this. Then just look at his history. Make sure his history is. There's no other people on the earth that have killed mass numbers of people like he has done with this 2,000 years of rulership from the Greeks. Then it was interrupted at a certain time in the Dark Ages. But with his rulership on the earth, just look at the historical facts. It clearly shows you that he has brought evil on the earth, which is what the devil has done.
Yeah, hold on, but I believe we have another call right now. Hold on, we'll let you respond, Brother McQuarrie. So let me just take this call real quick. 347-338. You're live on Debate Talk for you. You have a question or comment?
Yes, the comment I'd like to make is I'm glad you guys mentioned the so-called white man, because one of the main things that the era of history they're teaching that the so-called white man is from the seed of Japheth, which there's so much evidence proving that this white man is from the seed of Esau, because Japheth have nothing to do with Esau. Okay, when we read history, it shows that Japheth, which is we know is the Indonesian, the Polynesian, the people in Alaska, known as the Eskimo Indian, those people, those are the seed of Japheth. Now, sometimes when you read history and they tell you certain things about the history of the Greeks, the first thing they're going to say Japheth. But we know that the European did not come from the seed of Japheth. They came from the seed of Esau. Okay? Because Japheth, the scripture tells us that Japheth shall be enlarged, and it means Japheth is going to own a large part of Europe. And we know it's not the so-called European, because if anybody read history, that's why I'm glad you guys mentioned history. When anyone knows history knows that the original people of Europe were not European. They were known as Japheth. The white man went there and took Europe from the black Hebrew, because we know the Most High gave us the earth. And we went there and took Europe from the seed of Japheth. Take, for instance, the Scythians. Okay, the Sarmatians, there were another Israelite that was ruling Russia, and we came there. Another Israelite group came and took over Russia from the Sarmatians. These people were known as the Scythians. When this brother was ruling, we went up to Europe around 722 AD during the time of Sergeant II. Okay, so we took over Europe, and then later on we ruled Europe all the way until 1918. There's no evidence proving that the last king of Europe, I can't remember the brother's name, ruled Europe all the way to 1918. He was the last Caesar to rule Europe, and that's when the so-called European took over Russia fully. But we know that the so-called European are not the European, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So this is one of the history we have to be implemented, because there's so much lies out there proving to saying that white people are the seed of Japheth. They're not Japheth. Okay, you guys are 100,000,000% correct. They are from the seed of Esau. There's no evidence out there, man. You tell in the book of Job, chapter 30, that the Esau would be chased up in the mountain of Russia. That's what they say Caucasian means, the word of the Caucasus Mountain. Tell in the book of Job, chapter 30, verse 1-8, and then the book of Obadiah, like the brother said, proving without a shadow of doubt that the so-called European are from the seed of Edom. No one could prove that the white men are Japheth. None. No record out there, no history or nothing out there, man. Okay? These brothers are absolutely 1,000,000% correct.
Also from a biblical view, because we hear that about the Europeans being Japheth, but that wouldn't make sense biblically. Because when we read the Bible, the Edomites, or the people of Esau, they're the only ones that's at the height of power, and that all the nations are looking at with hatred for what they've done on the earth and to the people when you read the Bible. In the book of Malachi, the first chapter and the 4th verse, it says that these are the people who are known as the borders of wickedness, who the Lord would have indignation forever. In Obadiah, the first chapter, I believe it's the 15th verse to the 18th verse, it tells you that those are the people that the Lord would wipe off the earth forever. So, to a Christian or to the Christians out there, who are these particular people that the Lord has indignation forever? Who are these people that the Lord said he's going to wipe out his seed off this earth forever? And when you read the whole book of Obadiah, they would be in great power. So that makes you think the only people that's in great power, that has destroyed this earth and people and changes languages and lands, that has to be the so-called European. It's not talking about Japheth. It's the so-called white man who is known biblically as the Edomites in the Bible. So those two chapters alone, Obadiah and Malachi, both the first chapters, expound on a people that the Lord would hate forever. So we believe that the Lord loves everybody. If the Lord loves everybody, we were taught that in Bible school or Sunday school or whatever churches you go to. Why is the Lord expounding on how he hates this particular nation forever and is going to wipe them out in the book of Obadiah and Malachi? In the same book of Romans 9:13, the Lord says, Jacob have I loved, but Esau have I hated. The Lord hates a particular people. So that's something to think about.
And brother, one more thing, can I say one more question, statement?
Yeah, go ahead, brother.
And also, the scripture tells us in the book of Jeremiah, chapter 51, that Edom, mount up to heaven. When you look at the word mount, it said in the Hebrew, it said travel. the only race of people travel up in space starts with the Russians, okay, and the Sputnik, okay, until America claimed to go to the moon in 1969, which they did not go to the moon. That thing was filmed in a Hollywood studio. There's enough record proving that did not travel to the moon. They traveled to the stars because the Bible says stars. The only place of people to travel to the stars in history are the so-called Europeans. They tell you, like you said, in the book of Obadiah, that he that mount up to heaven with his struggle. So there's no record telling Joseph went up to heaven. No record at all, man.
In this particular group, I think in that same chapter, Isaiah 47, he says, I will be as the Most High. What people are in a position to claim or say they will be as the Most High. You understand? Whitewash all the dark images and made themselves the prophets and the priests and made themselves like the Most High. You understand? Or teaches that there is no God, or put on their money in God we trust, but then go the other way and don't really trust in God. It doesn't play out to the Japhetic people. It plays out to the Edomites, and we can clearly prove that that's the so-called Europeans. When you read the book of Genesis, the 27th chapter, from I believe it's the 36th verse to the 38th to the 40th verse, it tells you that the blessing that was laid on Esau is that he would live by the sword. This man would live by the sword. Jacob was the ruler of earth, which we're Jacob. We're going to rule the earth in the future. But it was prophesied that Esau, even though he cried to our father, Isaac, that he would live by the sword. It said, by the sword he will live. The main people that live by the sword is the so-called Europeans, the so-called white man. So it's not a personal thing on them, because a lot of people, they label us as a hate group. We're not a hate group. We're a spiritual group, and the truth going to come out, brother. It's going to come out.
Yeah, with that, brother Hezekiah.
I'd like to add, just add real quick, sorry to interrupt you, but that sword represents his modern technology, his weapons now, because we know obviously he's not carrying around a big sword like in the Knights or the Dark Ages, but it represents his tanks, his missiles, anything, his weaponry. That's what that sword is talking about. And clearly, he has the technology to destroy the earth right now. That's without a shadow of a doubt. So he's living by his weapons.
Yeah, 309. Is there something you want to add to this conversation? Yeah, 309.
Hello?
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, well, I personally don't believe that the white man is Esau. I believe that Japhet, the sons of Japhet, are the Europeans. Because why I believe that is if you trace back those countries that they talk about, like I'm going to just go to Genesis 10 real quick.
Good.
1 second. And then this is nothing, this ain't no, how people try to make it a fight. This is just based on my understanding, you know what I'm saying? Because I know how people like to make it a fight, well, oh, no, you're wrong because y'all got different understandings, you know what I'm saying? But my understanding is this, and I was listening to y'all, but it's okay here. It says, and the sons of Japhet, Gomer and Magog, Madai, Javan, Tubal, Meshach, Tyrus. The sons of Gomer, Ashkenaz. There go those Ashkenazi Jews, which are Gentiles, and Ripha and Togarmah, and Javan and Elisha. Now, hold on, let me look in this real quick. Just give me like 2 seconds here. Okay. Okay, now, it says Japhet, right? Okay, it says Togarmah. It is near, like Greece, like the Russia area. Like Ashkenaz is actually the Scythians, and they Gentiles as well. Madai, those are the Medes. Madai, M-A-D-A-I. Those are the Medes, which eventually became the Russians. Then you got Javan, which eventually became the Greeks. Gomer. I can't remember exactly where Gomer is, but I know Togarmah, Javan, Ashkenaz, and Medai. Medai is the Russians. Ashkenaz became the Scythians, which eventually became the Jews. Then you got Javan, which was the Greeks, eventually became the Greeks. So if you just search these names out and find the countries, you'll see the countries. That's how I got the understanding of that they was that the Gentiles are actually Europeans and all of that. Now I agree that the Europeans started out, they didn't have a nation, and they actually stole all that land that they took. But when you go go back to the 9th verse, when it said God shall enlarge Japhet, and he shall dwell in the tents of Shem, Japhet is one of the greatest amount of people on the planet. Is Japhet. They is great in number. You got Ham, who confined to Africa, you know what I'm saying, or the land of Ham. They confined there. And then you got this little remnant of people over in the land called Jews, you know what I'm saying, which in my opinion, according to what I understand, are the Edomites. And they in cahoots, because if you go to, I'm going to go to Psalm 83 real quick. This is the new world, the old world order. It says, for they have taken crafty, it's verse 5. For they have taken crafty a counsel, verse 4, it says, they have said, come, let us cut them off from being a nation, and the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. And then it says, for they have consulted together with one consent, they are confederate against thee, the tabernacles of Edom, the top of the list, and the Ishmaelites of Moab, and the Hagarenes, and then it goes the inhabitants of Tyre, and then it pretty much tell you the whole world. Everybody is in confederacy to keep Israel from knowing who they is, and they trying to establish, Satan's rule. And it also says in the New Testament that the Gentiles, what they sacrifice to, they sacrifice the devils. So the Gentiles always dealt with the devil. You know what I'm saying? The Israelites is the ones who only people on the planet who changed their gods that was to no gods, or start worshiping the devil, because Israel started out with the God of Israel. So, on the race thing, as far as the races of people, that's in my opinion according to Genesis chapter 10. And then if you just search the countries down, it shows that those countries, when you search those names down, you can find where those countries is, and then find out what the name of the country is today, and it'll tell you. That's how I found it anyway. But I'm going to look into y'all's stuff, and I'm going, because I want to know about that, because I've never heard that Edom was the entire, you know what I'm saying? I never heard that, so I was just sitting here listening and like, whoa, let me look into that, So that's all I want to ask.
Let me let our brother McCarthy respond. You want to respond to that, bro?
I'm going to let Lamont, I don't know if Lamont is still there, he's more of the historian. But what the brother got to realize, that a lot of those lands that he was going into, and a lot of those people that were in those lands was taken over by the so-called white man. And one thing the brother is missing is that all those people he named, where else do they play out when you read the rest of the Bible? When you read the Bible, it says that the Edomites, they would be at the top of the heap of all nations, and they would oppress all nations, and the Lord would come against them, and the people on the earth would come against them. So biblically, that wouldn't make any sense for them to be the so-called white man. You understand what I'm saying? That wouldn't make any sense. So, what the brother got to do, like I said, the main two chapters I pulled out was the first one was Malachi, and the second one was Obadiah. And when you read the book of Obadiah, a lot of the nations he named, mixed with the other nationalities, would come up against Esau or the Edomites. So, what he's saying, is a lot of error and holes that, that could be dealt with as far as that chapter he went to. So, a lot of places, a lot of those nations that he named are not the same inhabitants originally that were in those lands. They were pushed away by the so-called Europeans. I don't know if Lamont is still there?
Yeah.
You want to touch on that? With the brother?
You said something very important because a lot of these lands that the brother mentioned, we talked about the Madai. He was talking about, he said something about the Goma. Goma, those are the people, ancient people that was living in Germany, which were the sons of Japheth. Now, we've seen the European in America today, right? Now, we know how the white man got America by murdering the Indians, right? The same way they did when they went up to Europe and sold the land from the Israelites, which the Israelites took it from the other nation because that's our land anyway. But say something for a second, give me a minute.
So like what he's saying is that basically the white man ripped off and robbed a lot of those countries where what the brother was mentioning and took on those same names. So how do we know that? By proof where the white man is situated today and according to prophecy when you read the Bible. So, the brother, I've been hearing that as far as Goma and the Japhetic people being the Edomites for years. But it doesn't pan out when you read the Bible. It doesn't pan out. So, I appreciate my question.
Like your brother request. Can I just add on that? You notice the brother also, he made a point that was not correct when he was talking about Japhet and I guess he was trying to relate it to the white man being spread over and multiplying. Now that's not correct according to the history and according to what's going on with the population. The white man is not increasing; he's on the decrease. In actuality, he's saying that's why he's trying to label us as minority. But this is what this whole population control is about. So for the brother to say, Japhet is increasing and trying to relate it to the white man, that's incorrect because the white man is not multiplying like he's trying to propagate, like he's trying to promote that he's multiplying and he's the majority of the people. That's not correct. He's not the majority of people. And also, I'd just like to ask the brother about the color. We can't get around that color, the so-called white man. We call him the white man, but he's not white. He's red. Because his blood shows through his skin of a lack of melanin pigmentation. And that clearly represents the Edomites today. They're red. They're not white. So it's a lot of holes in what the brother said. It's a lot of holes. And I would just encourage the brother to really listen to the information we're bringing out. We would be more than happy to sit down with the brother or talk to the brother and really go over it. But there's a lot of holes in what he's saying, if he really
brother, sorry to cut you, man. The scripture tells you that the end of Esau's world, you know what I'm saying? For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that follow. Now, we know that the only race of people are ruling the earth today is the so-called white men, okay? Because the Bible said the end of Esau's world. Okay, now, all those lands, like you said, the brother mentioned, all those lands, the Lord gave justice all those lands up in Europe. And we know how they all, take for instance, Romania. Romania was a land that was owned by the Japhetic tribe. How the Europeans took over Rome, Romania, during the time of the Caesar and so forth. When the Caesar was going to conquer the world, they took over Romania. Then they went to Germany, they took over Germany under the Caesar, Claudius Caesar, all them guys. They took over Britain, ruled Britain for a period of time and so forth. Then that's all we see in the main people of Europe today are the so-called Europeans because they went and conquered the whole world, man. I mean, all people got to do is read the book of Jeremiah chapter 51, proving without a shadow of doubt that the so-called white people that call themselves Japhet, that call themselves Japhet, which is a lie, those are not but the descendants of Esau. You know what I'm saying? It's too much evidence. It's enough record out there, man. So when we're teaching that the so-called European of Japhet, that's not true. That's a lie. They don't know enough history to prove that. You know what I'm saying? This God ain't lying to you, man. So read the Bible for yourself, brother, and it's enough evidence proving that white man is Esau, man.
This is Malachi, the first chapter, the 4th verse. It says, whereas Edom saith, we are impoverished, but we will return and build the desolate places. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, they shall build, but I will throw down. And they shall call them the border of wickedness. So the Lord doesn't call the people of Japhet the border of wickedness, You understand? But this particular nation, the Edomites, the Lord is calling them the border of wickedness, and the people against whom the Lord has indignation, meaning righteous hatred, forever. So, throughout the whole Bible, the Lord tells you about the Edomites and their place, how they're going to play out on the earth. You don't see it about Japheth, but you see it about the Edomites all throughout the Bible. So the Lord calls them the borders of wickedness when you read the Bible. So, in Genesis, the 27th chapter and the 40th verses, the Lord gave Esau his blessing. It says, "And by the sword shalt thou live, and thou shalt serve thy brother, and it shall come to pass when thou shalt have dominion, that thou shalt break the yoke from off thy neck." So the Lord prophesied that this group would live by the sword. When you read Ezekiel 35, verse 5, the Lord said he would come against the children of Israel by the force of the sword. So you go from the Old Testament all the way to the New, the key players in the Bible are the children of Israel and the Edomites, the so-called white man. And it's the only nation in the Bible that's prophesied that the Lord will destroy forever and wipe his seed out forever. So that's one key way we know that the so-called white man is the so-called Edomites, or is the Edomites, but not the children of Japheth. Because you don't read too much about Japheth in the Bible having great power or coming up against the children of Israel or living by the sword and taking over lands and destroying nations. But you read about that constantly with the children of Edom. You understand? So the brother that called in, I think you need to look into that, because it's very key information as far as biblically knowing who are the Edomites today.
And once again, you're now tuned in to Debate Talk for You. The title of this show is called Israelite Camp Confusion and Solution, Part 2. My special guest is Brother Bakwash, Brother Tavon, and now Brother Lamar, right? Brother Lamar. All three brothers are here, for bringing forth that knowledge. We're actually past the 60-minute mark, so we're down to the last few minutes of the show. What I'm going to let you guys do is, share some last final words with the people out there that's listening that may, have been edified by this knowledge out there. Let's start off with Brother Lamar.
You might have lost him.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think I did. Brother Terrell, you out there? Brother Terrell?
Yeah, I would just like to say, we have to understand a lot of times our people get turned off with they will say, well, why so many people against you? Well, we have to understand what the Bible said and read Luke 6, where Christ said you would be hated by the world. He said in John 7:7, I testify that the world would hate you. He said, and it goes through the book of John and it tells you, if you was a friend of the world, then the world would love his own. But because you're not of this world, the world will hate you. So when you see a lot of people coming up against us, they hate the truth, and they hate what we're standing for. We have to understand that, this is part of the mission. So, we ask brothers and sisters, don't get discouraged. Because I get a lot of questions like, well, why are so many people against you? Well, they're supposed to be against us because we're bringing out the truth. So I'd just like to encourage the brothers and sisters out there, stay strong. You, brother, this is a great forum. I thank you, for letting us get this information out. And let's keep up the good work.
Yeah, appreciate it, brother. Let's take one more caller before we sign off. I think it's the same, brother. 309-685, the live on Debate Talk for You. You have a question or comment?
Yeah, I just have a comment. I just wanted to respond to the Gentile thing real quick. I just want to read, why I'm, having a hard time with that line of thinking. Okay, I'm going to go back to Genesis 10, and it says, okay, I'm just going to read verse 5. It says, by these were the isles of the Gentiles divided in their lands. So the sons of Japheth are Gentiles. Okay, we go to Luke 21 and pick it up at 24. And it says, and they shall fall by the edge of the sword, and shall be led away captive into all nations, and Jerusalem shall be trodden down of the Gentiles, until the time of the Gentiles be fulfilled. Now, this is 70 A.D., because I could read the 70 A.D. history, and it'll match up. So it says, to the time of the Gentiles be fulfilled. So I'm wondering when the time of the Gentiles has been fulfilled. And then when you go to Revelations chapter 11, it says, 11 and 2, it says, "But the court which is without the temple leave out, and measure it not, for it is given unto the Gentiles, and the holy city shall they tread underfoot 42 months, or 3.5 years."
Can I ask you a question? Well, not
Sure.
to cut you off, brother. We don't have much time. But that point about the sword. Now, we both agree that that's 70 AD, and that's the Romans, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, as far as the sword, real quick, I'm just going to read this. Ezekiel, the 35th chapter, and the 5th verse says, "Because thou hast had a perpetual hatred, and hast shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword in the time of their calamity." So when you go to the 2nd verse, it says, "Son of man, set thy face against Mount Seir and prophesy against it." Mount Seir are the Edomites. You see what I'm saying?
Right. No, I know that.
Oh,
But
okay.
what I'm saying is how. So then, if what you're saying that Genesis 35 or not 35, Ezekiel 35, and Luke 21, if they coincide, it said that would put in my head that the Edomites must be Gentiles.
Edomites
They
are
not.
Gentiles.
Edomite is a Gentile.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anybody, a non-Jew is a Gentile.
Well, I mean, a non-Jew couldn't be a Gentile because a Jew is nothing more than somebody from the tribe of Judah.
Right, but because they were labeled as Judeans by the Romans. But for edification, when we say Jew, we mean the whole 12 tribes. You're right. But in other words, anyone who's not of the nation of Israel is classified biblically as a Gentile. Do you agree?
No, I think that biblically the Gentiles are classified as the sons of Japheth. You know what I'm saying?
Can you show that? Can you show that there's that point you're making? Can you show that in the Bible that a Gentile is Japheth? So then, if Japheth is a Gentile, then the Jews are Gentiles too. Is that what you said?
The Jews over in the land now?
No, when I say Jews, I'm talking about us. The Jews over there,
the Israelites. No, because the Gentile is a specific. Okay, when we go to Genesis chapter 10, it says after he lists. Okay, it says the sons of Japheth, and then it lists the sons. Then you go to the 5th verse said, "By these were the isles of the Gentiles divided in their lands, everyone after their tongue and their families and their nations." It says that Japheth is Gentiles.
Okay, so Ham, are those Gentiles too?
Ham?
Right, the children of Ham. Are they Gentiles?
No, they Hamites. It's 3 different, everybody come out of 3 different nations, Ham, Shem, and Japheth. Shem, Esau is actually a Shemite. Esau is from the sons of Shem. So he's a Hebrew Edomite, and the Ishmaelites are Hebrew Ishmaelites, and then the Israelites are Hebrew Israelites, all coming from the sons of Shem.
But let me say something real quick, brother. The Gentile, when he goes into the Bible dictionary, when you read the Bible dictionary clearly tells you that anyone that's not a Jew of the 12 tribes of Israel is considered a Gentile. So, that's why the brother said Ham, which he's correct on that. Ham and the other nations are considered Gentiles too. They're not Jews, so they're considered Gentiles.
Well, I don't understand if Genesis 10 is saying that Japheth are Gentiles.
Huh?
I said I don't understand that if Genesis 10 verse 5 is saying, "By these are the isles of the Gentiles divided," it's calling, Genesis 10 is calling Japheth Gentiles. And how could Israel or Edom be Gentiles when they come from the seed of Shem?
They're Shemitic, but the Most High divided the nations in their lands. It tells you that in the same book of Genesis. For example, in Matthew 10, 5 and 6, it says, "These 12, meaning the 12 disciples, Jesus sent forth and commanded them, saying, Go not into the way of the Gentiles." Don't go to the Gentiles and into any of the city of Samaritans and see not, but go rather to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. See, the Lord, He's making a separation there. You have the children of Israel, who the word is for, and then you have the Gentiles, who the Lord commanded the disciples not to go to. So you have a separation. You follow me? And you yourself, I think you were
I'm following
earlier.
you. The only thing I'm not following is lineage. You know what I'm saying? Because that Genesis 10 say them is Gentiles. But the definition in some of the Bible dictionaries say anyone not a Jew is a Gentile. But according to lineage, Japhet is the Gentiles.
We agree.
No, that's being misinformed, brother. According to that particular verse that you're reading in Genesis 10, but when you go through the Bible, there's different sections where they call it the other nations Gentiles, like Ham and so on, like the brother said. So it's not just Genesis 10 to declare who's a Gentile. You got to go through all the Bible, and it shows you who the Gentiles is. Anyone that's not of the 12 tribes of Israel.
Yeah, I see we're going to have to set up a show separate for this conversation right here, bro.
Well, that's good, man. I'm not trying to come against any of you brothers or anything. We just, reason. The Lord said, let us reason together, saith the Lord. So that's all. I'm not trying to be combative or any of that. This is new stuff to me, so I'm trying to, get my mind around it and all of that. So I just want y'all to know there is no ill will, and I don't have a hidden agenda to try to mess up the show. You know what I'm saying? I don't understand that.
All our brothers. We love all our brothers.
It's all love out here, man. It's all love, man. Yeah. I'm just saying, look like I have to definitely set up a show separate for this particular conversation, though, in the future. With y'all brothers, definitely, man. It's definitely interesting. But, my brother, we winding down to the last few minutes of the show, so I'm going to let Brother Bakwash get some last words out before we sign off.
Pretty much like I said last week, or the other 2 weeks ago, man. Everybody just hang in there, man. The Lord going to work everything out. And just, have an open mind and get into that Bible, man. Get into that Bible, read, and study. Learn your nationality, know who your enemy is, and keep the commandments of the Heavenly Father. Because we're going to get there. A hook or crook, we're going to get there. Just hang in there. The Bible's the way.
And let people know how they can reach you if they want to contact you, brothers.
You can take my email address again. That's Bakwash. B as in Bobby, A as in Apple, Q as in Quality, A as in Apple, S as in Sam, H as in House at gmail.com. It's gmail.com. Bakwash. BAQASH.
And also, if you go to the YouTube page, you can scroll down in the description box. You can type in the search box on YouTube, Hard Rock Truth. Once again, just type in the search box, Hard Rock Truth, and you'll see the Bakwash page with, all the information that's put out there. Once again, it's an honor and a pleasure to have you brothers on the show. I appreciate the knowledge you bring forth to Debate Talk for you, and I'm definitely going to have you guys on once again to speak on other various topics. Brother Terrell, anything you want to say, any last words, man? How brothers can reach you?
You can also contact me at truthelevated777gmail.com. Once again, that's truthelevated777gmail.com. And once again, brother, my blessings go out to you. The Spirit of the Most High, I.U.I.C, for having the courage, and being able to have the forum that we can, get this truth out. So, have a blessed day, brother.
You too. Thanks a lot, brother, for having us on.
All right, man. Take care. Appreciate y'all, brothers, man. And once again, for those people out there that listen to the show, if you like what you hear, send me an email at debatetalkforyou@gmail.com. Let me know what you thought about the show. You can also go to facebook.com/debatetalkforyou and keep relevant, stay relevant on what's happening on Debate Talk for You. All right, so basically, it's a great show. I'm signing off. This is Sal, host of Debate Talk for You. See you guys next time. Take care. God bless.